What's up guys, and welcome back to another Wynand Crypto video. You need to watch this video until the end because what we're witnessing right now is nothing short of revolutionary. Bank of America, one of the biggest financial institutions on the planet, is fully embracing XRP, and this gives us the crystal clear confirmation we've been waiting for around their involvement in the Ripple ecosystem. But before we get into the Bank of America situation, let's talk about how traditional finance is already completely integrated into the crypto space. It's happening faster than most people realize. Take JP Morgan for instance. They've launched something called Connexus, and let me tell you what this is all about. They're calling it next generation financial infrastructure with tokenized investments and lightning fast cross-border payments. JP Morgan is literally reimagining how we transfer money, assets, and financial information using blockchain infrastructure. Now here's what's fascinating, and this is crucial to understand. Connexus runs on Onyx, which is JP Morgan's private blockchain, and here's my take on this. I don't care if it's JP Morgan or any other massive name. Private blockchains are essentially dead in the water. Any private blockchain initiative will never come close to matching the power and efficiency of public blockchains. These private chains floating around, they're not going to see even a fraction of the transaction flow that public blockchains handle. And here's what's going to happen. Anyone currently using these private blockchain solutions will experience a night and day difference once they transition to public blockchains. That's going to be the major wave moving forward. But JP Morgan being in this space already shows us that major traditional finance players are here. They're not sitting on the sidelines anymore. State Street is another perfect example. Back on February 17th, they announced plans to launch crypto custody services in 2026. They're not just dipping their toes in the water, they're preparing for full-scale integration. And now we have Citi. They have been a significant player since way back in 2021. Citi Digital Asset continues developing comprehensive digital asset solutions aligned with their strategic goals and risk management framework. They're using what they call a unified set of shared technology capabilities with a common strategic approach. Now this makes me wonder, what exactly is that shared technology? Because I have a strong suspicion that Citi might still be connected to Metaco, which Ripple acquired. Remember? Citi was a Metaco partner before Ripple bought him out. So there could be deeper connections here than what meets the eye. What we do know for certain is that Citi is laser focused on tokenization, digital custody, and digital settlements. They're heavily highlighting distributed ledger technology and blockchain solutions. Citi is absolutely plugged in and aware of where the industry is heading. BNY Mellon jumped in too. On April 3rd this year, they expanded their digital asset platform with an innovation on-chain offering. And listen, they're just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to major announcements. We witnessed SOP 121 getting rescinded, the OCC started enabling big banks to operate in crypto, the FDIC followed suit. The big banks aren't just ready, they're positioned to scale massively. Now that regulatory barriers are crumbling and the market is opening up for these institutions, what do you think happens next? They're going to scale aggressively. What's incredible is that throughout this entire year, we've been hearing specific signals from Bank of America about what they're planning to do. Back in February, we've heard about their plans to launch a stablecoin. Going all the way back to January, their CEO made it clear that the financial industry will jump into crypto payments once regulators give it the green light. We've covered this on this channel before because it directly relates to XRP, given the established connections between Bank of America and Ripple. But here's what the Bank of America said about regulation and Wall Street involvement. Such dealings would have to be non-anonymized and verified from the banking industry to get on board. If rules to that effect were introduced, the industry would have no choice but to adopt a new currency stream. We have to, because it's just another way our customers are going to want to move money. There's also concern about cryptocurrencies potentially threatening the US dollar's position, but XRP actually supports the dollar. It's a tool that helps strengthen the economy. Maintaining the dollar as the world's reserve asset remains crucial, which aligns with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's position. Bank of America's CEO clarified that a strong dollar is good for our economy, but emphasized that wider crypto adoption for consumer payments doesn't directly impact the investment side. If you go down to the street and buy lunch, and you can pay with Visa, MasterCard, debit card, or Apple Pay, this would just be another form of payment with instantaneous cash transfer. The investment side and Bitcoin stuff is really a separate question. Honestly, I don't think many traditional finance executives fully grasp the technology from how they speak about it. In my view, payments utilizing DLT and blockchain absolutely affect the underlying network and token value. If we reach the point where crypto is used for payments at scale, they're perfectly fine with me. There's massive money to be made through those initiatives alone. The OCC made additional clarifications in March about bank activities around crypto, followed by another announcement on May 7th clarifying Bank Authority for Crypto Asset Custody and Execution Services. The regulatory landscape keeps improving. Then we got the FDIC saying banks no longer need permission for crypto activities. The Fed withdrew its guidance on bank crypto-related activities. This all happened in just the last 3 or 4 months. When you step back and look at the big picture, the market is wide open for institutional players. And you guys, I have a special trick for you, which nobody seems to be using, and I cannot wrap my head around why. Because if you sign up through my link down in the description onto the BTCC exchange, you get a 10% deposit bonus, and now stay with me here. Now here comes the important part. If you have any trading capital on any other exchange and you move it to your newly created BTCC account, you get, on top of your capital you moved, another 10% extra trading capital. As an example, so if you move or deposit 100k to your account, you get 10k for free. I'm not kidding. I really don't understand why nobody's doing this. To me, it really seems like people sometimes are too lazy or just don't like free money. I mean, like, I cannot make that account for you. You will need to do that yourself, alright? So let's jump back into the video. Now here's something crucial from Digital Asset Investor. It's going to happen really fast now, and then they reference what Ripple has been working on for a decade. This is Christian Carillo on the Ballot podcast. Watch this.
It's going to happen really fast now. It's happening really fast. So one of the things that the Biden administration hostility to crypto did is it gave cover to every CEO of traditional finance, our traditional banks and financial systems. It gave them cover to not have a crypto strategy. What's happened is that cover has been ripped off. I would say that any CEO of a traditional financial firm that doesn't have a serious crypto strategy has got serious reputation risk and better be looking over their shoulder at the junior members of the executive team that are going to push them out of the way. This is the year that we're seeing traditional finance move in a very big way. So the head of Bank of America, Brian Moynihan, recently said that once this stablecoin legislation passes, they are going to introduce a stablecoin. You know, one of the ways banks make money, aside from lending, is that they move money around the globe. It's called correspondent banking. The way that banks move the trillions of dollars that are moving every year around the globe is they move it from one bank to the other through what's called the correspondent banking system. Well, that's going to be completely displaced by stablecoins. In the same way that, I'll use another analogy, you know, once upon a time, photography, you traveled around the world, you'd see these Kodak shops on every street corner because you'd go get your film and you get your film developed and you take it from one place to the other. Correspondent banking is like those camera stock shops. And once digital photography came around, you took the picture and you send it back home to grandma the same minute that you were taking that photograph, you know, at the Louvre in Paris. And so stablecoins are it's going to challenge the bank's role in moving money around the globe dramatically. And so traditional finance has suddenly realized that Washington is no longer a barrier to innovation. They're now encouraging it, and the banks are now moving in.
Did you hear that? It's happening really fast now. The Biden administration's hostility toward crypto actually gave traditional finance CEOs cover to avoid having crypto strategies. But that cover has been completely ripped away. Any CEO of a traditional finance firm without a serious crypto strategy now faces serious reputation risk. They better be watching their backs because junior executives are ready to push them aside. This is the year we're seeing traditional finance move in massively. Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan recently stated that once stablecoin legislation passes, they're introducing a stablecoin. And here's the massive news. Monica Long reveals that Bank of America CEO says they're all in. She doesn't explicitly say XRP, but she confirms the floodgates are about to burst. This is an older clip, but it still validates what we're seeing unfold. Watch this.
It feels like the floodgates are going to open this year, doesn't it? I mean, so within the past week, a couple weeks, so SAB 121 being called back or rolled back. And I mean, within, it felt like minutes, you know, you hear from CEOs like Bank of America saying we're all in. And, you know, these are institutions that I mean, Bank of America was one of our early partners when we were doing kind of like the messaging software only payment solution. So we've worked with these types of banks for a long time. And the lack of clarity, and I mean, I think in the more recent time, even hostility toward, hey, like, using these assets and this technology is not okay, it's dangerous, which is not the best way to handle it, as we would say. But looking forward, I would say, yes, it seems like there's going to be a sea change this year. And even I could say post November, the US election result, even just the ongoing conversations we've had with banks around being reserve bank or transaction banking partners for the stablecoin or for our payments business, like the tone and message changed overnight. Like, it was quick.
Bank of America was actually one of Ripple's early partners when they were focused on messaging software payment solutions. These institutions have worked with Ripple for years. The lack of regulatory clarity and recent hostility toward crypto created an environment that wasn't conducive to grow. But looking forward, we're seeing a complete sea change this year. Even post-November election, the conversations Ripple has had with banks about being reserve bank or transaction banking partners for stablecoins and payment businesses, the tone changed overnight. This is what I've been focused on because Bank of America has been a long-term Ripple partner, but there is more. Bank of America was suspected of using XRP for 100% of internal transactions. Bank of America is just one of hundreds of institutional players connected to Ripple that could be using XRP very soon. The internal transaction claims came from David Schwartz, floating around in early January. Everyone discussed it because he allegedly said Bank of America had been using XRP for 100% of internal transactions for approximately 2 years before being shut down. Can we confirm this completely? Not really, but we can't deny it either because we don't have proof either way. What we do know is that Bank of America has been a long-term Ripple customer and partner. Bank of America stated they will use XRP-powered on-demand liquidity once the lawsuit is fully resolved. Personally, I think this is being viewed by the United States as a SWIFT system alternative. When we analyze what's happening, these banks could very well be secretly preparing to go all in on XRP and utilize it at scale once regulations are fully established, exactly like we heard from Bank of America's CEO back in January. The landscape is changing rapidly. We need to pay close attention to the institutional side of Ripple and XRP because it's going to affect XRP's price and adoption in a huge way. This is it for you today, XRP Army. The institutional adoption is accelerating faster than most people realize. Bank of America going all in is just the beginning. We're about to see a massive wave of traditional finance embracing XRP. What do you think about these developments? Are you as excited as I am about the institutional adoption we're seeing? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear from every single one of you. If this video got you hyped up about XRP's future, smash the like button right now. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you'll never miss any XRP updates. Thanks for watching. Wynand Crypto out.